Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Boju. So, recently I did a video, a sort of review actually, on Weathered, and it contained commentary. I wanted to try something new, and it, in fact, did very well. People liked it, wanted to hear more commentary, so I decided to continue it. So, in this video, I sort of want to talk about Cataclysm. I think it's one of the more interesting weapons out there, in addition to Weathered, and I have a lot of experience with it, so why not talk about it? So, I guess without further ado, let's get into it. As most already know, Cataclysm is the Thunder Mythic for Assassin. Now, Thunder Mythics are generally just focused all around damage and have the highest damage output in the game. And Cataclysm's no exception, and almost you could say that Cataclysm is an extreme. It's got the highest base damage of any weapon in the game, and it can deal some insane damage with upwards of 30,000 spin damage with the Vanish boost included. Now, looking at the item, you can see straight from its stats that in addition to its huge base damage, it comes with a drawback. And that is its massive negative health, which is totally a worth it drawback for the insane damage you get. In addition, you can see that it's got -1 first spell cost, which makes it so that with 105 intelligence, you can have 1 mana spins, which is absolutely huge. The question on whether or not this is actually necessary for Cataclysm is debatable, especially considering how powerful it already is. It's got totally off the roof damage compared to, uncomparable to anything else. You gotta also remember that the difference between a maximum roll negative health kata and a minimum roll negative health kata is very huge. There's about a 4,000 health difference. Because of that, kata is one of the most ID dependent mythics in the game, as well as the most, differing in price. So a minimum roll kata could go for about a couple stacks, whereas a godly cataclysm can go upwards of like 16 stacks or something. So just keep that in mind when buying one. Also, as a side note, I just want to say that it's totally fine to use a bad roll kata. I've been personally able to use a -7,000 health kata just fine effectively. It's not really the end of the world, but maybe if you're a less experienced assassin, maybe a little newer to the class, consider maybe going for a higher roll kata. It just depends kind of on your skill. Now, that's about it for this section. Now it's time to talk about Cataclysm's gameplay. Cataclysm's gameplay is centered a lot around the fact that it's a hyperglass mythic. Because of its negative health, you generally want to play fairly safe, usually going for short bursts of damage because those bursts are going to hit very hard, even harder than just normally just beating up a boss just sitting next to it. Now, when it comes to building with Cataclysm, there's generally two different build archetypes that shine with it. It's either Thunder Water Fire or Earth Thunder Water. In general, Thunder Water Fire is significantly better than Earth Thunder Water in a way that it gets almost as much damage as Earth Thunder Water, while also having significant tankiness, even considering Cataclysm's huge health deficit. Now, when it comes to Earth Thunder Water, it does get like a couple thousand more spin damage, but in general it's not worth it because your effective hit points are generally tanked. I just use it because I think it's fun and gets the heart pumping, but it's not really optimal. I don't recommend it that much. There's not really any other archetypes that work. Thunderwater Air doesn't really work because it generally specs you into Mana Regen, and Mana Regen Assassin is very bad. Maybe want to make an actual video about it, but in general it just leaves you as a sitting duck, which is the worst thing you want to do as an assassin. With this short review, I just want to say that Cataclysm is an absolute beast. Its raw damage output severely outweighs the negative health deficit it does have, and it's so stark in contrast that I want to say that it may generally get nerfed in the future. But until then, I highly recommend picking one up. It's a very fun weapon to play around, and I at least have a lot of fun with it, even though there's not too many archetypes that work with it. The ones that do synergize very well. That's about it for this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And also remember to leave comments. I'd like to hear your opinions. Maybe you have a differing opinion from mine. Maybe you'd like to leave a comment for something you'd suggest. Maybe suggest some weapon I'd review. I'll take those all into consideration. This, in fact, was a viewer suggestion. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.